In this lecture, we will try to understand a sentence. In order to understand a sentence, you must know the constituents of a sentence. A sentence at the lowest level or at the very beginning begins with a word. Or if I may just say that again, a sentence begins with a sound. Sounds get together to form a syllable. Syllables get together to form a letter, an alphabet. Alphabets get together to form a word. Words get together to form a phrase. Phrases get together to form a clause. Clauses get together to form a sentence. So, at the highest level is the sentence, which begins here as a word, sound, syllable, moves on to a phrase, then a clause, and then at the level of a sentence. If you go for the definitions of the phrase, you would understand it as a group of words which neither has a subject or a predicate. So you must know when a group of words which does not have a subject or a predicate, can it stand on its own self? No, it cannot stand on its own self, and hence it cannot make meaning. It cannot complete the sense unless and until it is combined with some other larger groups of words. We begin with the examples now, if you can just see that on your screens. Let us have a look at this example. In olden times, man was completely helpless before the vagaries of nature. So, this sentence has group of words, and all these groups contain certain words that are forming a unit. For example, times, helpless, man, before. Now, they do not have any syntactic relationship and they do not qualify as phrases. What qualifies as a phrase is in golden times, completely, before the vagaries of nature. Now, on one hand, you have phrases which cannot express meaning on their own. On the other hand, you have a cluster or a group of phrases which have a syntactic structure. They have a subject and a predicate of their own, and these group of words form a part of a sentence. They can stand on their own, they can make a complete sense, but also they might not be able to complete the sense. So depending upon whether they can complete the sense or not, they are classified as a main clause or a principal clause and a subordinate clause. So the larger sentence, now try to understand, has the phrases. The phrases together form the clauses. Amongst the clauses also, you might have a main clause or an independent clause, and you might have the secondary clause or the clauses, subordinate clauses, which cannot make sense on their own. Have a look at the sentence. There are two clauses in the sentence. Sentence number 1 says, my father travels by train till the New Delhi railway station and then takes a bus to reach his office in Noida. So I hope as there is a color differentiation, you can make out that my father is a subject there and travels by train till the New Delhi railway station is the predicate, right? Here, again, in the next sentence, I met your cousin who has blue eyes. Clause number 1 is I met your cousin, and clause number 2 is who has blue eyes. Let us analyze these two sentences now. The first sentence, my father travels by train till the New Delhi railway station, is making complete sense in itself. Though it is the principal clause, it also has an independent existence. Now this is joined by and, which is a conjunction, then takes a bus to reach his office in Noida, is another clause, but now this clause is a subordinate clause. It is not making a sense on its own. Sentence number 2, similarly, the clause 1 is the main clause, I met your cousin, and clause number 2 is the subordinate clause, and again this has a subordinating conjunction, who has blue eyes. Have a look on this sentence. It has a single independent clause. The 11th edition is out of stock. Now it is a single independent clause. So we call this a main, independent, or a principal clause. In the sentence number 2, the first clause was complete, but the other one was, and it was independent. So therefore, the main, independent, or principal clause expresses a complete sense on its own. Dependent or the subordinate clauses cannot stand on their own, and they usually are commence with the subordinating conjunctions, and they follow, the subordinate clauses are preceded by, and thus they are embedded into the main clause. Have a look on these examples A, B and C. Since Alok was the most qualified applicant, he was offered the job. Now here, he was offered the job is the principal clause. Since Alok was the most qualified applicant is the subordinate clause, because it is preceded by a subordinating conjunction. Alok was offered the job since he was the most qualified applicant. Here, Alok was offered the job is the independent or the main principal clause, and since he was the most qualified applicant is the subordinate clause. Have a look on the sentence number C. Alok, who was the most qualified applicant, was offered the job. Okay. Now here you have the clause is embedded in the sentence, who was the most qualified applicant. All right. Further understanding the phrases, these phrases are categorized into noun phrases, prepositional phrases, adjective phrases, verb phrases, and adverb phrases. Examples of the noun phrase. The phrase is said to be a noun phrase when the main word in the sentence is, or the phrase is, a noun or a pronoun. An important meeting was held yesterday. So an important meeting, as underlined and written in red color, indicates that this is the noun phrase. I asked him his brother's name. Now his brother's name is the noun phrase in this sentence. Adjectival phrases. Now, as the name is indicative, adjective has to be the main word. Read out the example. The problem was too difficult to solve. So, too difficult to solve is the adjective phrase in the sentence. In the next sentence, the girl with the blue bag is my sister. So, this is the description, the quality. The girl with a blue bag. Therefore, with a blue bag is the adjective phrase in the sentence. Adverb phrases may or may not have an adverb as its main word. Here is an example. He completed the work pretty fast. So pretty fast is the adverbial phrase. They arrived here last evening. Last evening is the adverbial phrase. Again, if you have a look on the next set of sentences, the boat was drawn up, the army marched away. There are a group of verbs and they are functioning in the same way as a single word verb would function. For example, these words are drawn up and marched away. So this kind of a phrase is referred to as a verb phrase. Another category is the prepositional phrases, which will consist of a preposition and an object. So it may function as an adverb, as an adjective in the noun phrase. For example, I am coming in a moment. Winters in London are wet. So beginning with the prepositions in both the sentences, in a moment and in London are the prepositional phrases. Now the noun phrases will usually function like a noun. So the noun or the pronoun is the main word which gives a detailed information about the noun, which is usually done by adding adjectives to the noun, and further more information by the nouns that can be added with the prepositional phrase. Have a look on these examples. She walked through the forest. She walked through the forest, the dark, mysterious forest. Now this becomes, the noun forest becomes a noun phrase, the dark, mysterious forest. The parrot flew through the canopy, the brightly colored parrot. Now, single word noun has been replaced by a set of words, brightly colored parrot, and therefore this becomes a noun phrase. The winning team held the trophy. Happy and elated, the winning team. Now, look how many words have been added to describe certain things about the winning team. Happy and elated, the winning team held the trophy. Therefore, happy and elated, the winning team becomes the noun phrase. In the next sentence, someone is talking about the home. Home, you know, is a noun, but when you add the word ancestral before the word home, it becomes a noun phrase. So this is something which you can practice. This has been solved for you, easy for you to understand. Thinking good thoughts precedes good actions. What have you to pick out? You have to pick out the noun phrases. Now, I just want to draw your attention to one thing. The noun can be replaced by a noun phrase, and the noun phrase can also be replaced by a noun. And what does that do? Why should we do that? Because this brings a kind of clarity, more description, more information, and also a kind of rephrasing which brings more and more conciseness to what you are saying, or it is actually describing something when you are making it into a noun phrase. He likes books, he tried the sum. These are certain examples or exercises which you can just go through for practice. Okay. Talking about the adjective phrases, you have the adjective smiling face, but when you have to change it into an adjective phrase, you have to add a few words to it, and it becomes face with a smile on it. A stone house will become house built of stone. A heavy load, a load of great weight. A golden crown, a crown made of gold. Here again you have a few sentences from where you have to pick out the adjective phrases. He tells a tale with the ring of truth in it. Since that is the description added to it, so the adjective phrase is with the ring of truth to it. He was a lad of great promise. What kind of a lad was he? Some more description has to be added. He was a lad of great promise. So of great promise is the adjective phrase. Here you have a few sentences where you should be replacing the underlined adjective by an adjectival phrase. So a grey cloud spread over the sky. So I want you to attempt this so that you gain some kind of confidence in dealing with these sentences. All right, adverb phrases. Group of words which are functioning as an adverb. This could be a single word or a group of words which are being modified by a verb. For example, recently you can use the phrase just now. Bravely, with bravery, or in a brave manner. Soon, at an early date, or before very long. In order to convey the word there, How can you make it a phrase? At that place, away to another place. He ran quickly. If you have to change it into a phrasal form, how do you do it? He ran with great speed. The arrow fell here. The arrow fell on this spot. He is coming now. He is coming at this very moment. In the last sentence, no such diseases were known then. No such diseases were known in those days. So this adverb then has been changed into an adverb phrase in those days. So again, these are a few exercises for practice. Thank you very much.